Hi, everyone. We're going to continue on to page 2 in our Unit 8 trig review. Okay, this is page 2 here. All right, so we're going to continue to find unknowns in our right triangle trigonometry. All right, so we've got triangle. Okay, so let's talk about a SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Just another way to write that. All right, this time we're trying to find an angle. All right, so we have a hypotenuse. We have an opposite side. That tells us we're using the sine function. All right, so my sine of my angle x is my opposite over my hypotenuse. So this is where I'm going to use second sine, the inverse sine function of 3 divided by 10. So I get about 17.5 degrees. So x is approximately 17.5 degrees. All right, letter F. All right, here's my angle. I have my adjacent. I have my opposite. I'm using my tan function. All right, tangent. So tangent of 76 degrees equals my opposite over my adjacent. All right, so now we kind of done this so many times, we realize that we're going to cross multiply, and it's going to turn out that this tangent of 76 degrees and this x are just going to kind of bump positions. So we're going to jump to that little shortcut there. Okay, so now my calculator. I've got 8 divided by tangent of 76. Get about 1.99. Round that to the nearest tenth. We get about 2.0 feet. All right, letter G. All right, so I have a hypotenuse. I have an opposite side. It's going to be my sine function. So a sine of 19 degrees equals my opposite over my hypotenuse. And again, let's use that little shortcut we know. So 16 over the sine of 19. Okay, go to my calculator. 16 divided by sine of 19 degrees. Get about 49.1. And a unit on that, no unit. All right, letter H. All right, looking for an angle again. Okay, so I have an opposite side. I have a hypotenuse. And that's going to, again, give me my sine function. So sine of x equals my opposite over my hypotenuse. Okay, let's go to my calculator. This is where I'm going to use my inverse sine function. 7 over 14. I get 30. So x equals 30 degrees. Did say round to the nearest tenth, so I'm putting that 0.0 there. All right, last one with a straight little triangle here. All right, so we have an opposite. We have an adjacent. That's going to tell me I'm using my tangent. So tangent of 38 degrees equals my opposite over my adjacent. I'm always going to show this cross multiplication. Now I'm going to go to my calculator. 54 times tangent of 38. Get about 42.2 yards. All right, number 3. All right, so this time we're drawing a picture. All right, so you are 50 feet from the screen at a drive-in movie. The angle of elevation to the top of the screen is 58 degrees. How tall is the screen to the nearest tenth of a foot? Well, it might be something you're interested in. You're at the drive-in, you're wondering, like, how big is that? All right, so here's our drive-in movie screen. Here's you. Maybe next to your little car. I know everyone's very jealous of my artistry. All right. Okay. So, let's get 4 wheels. Come on, what are we doing here? All right. about a right angle here. So you're looking up at that screen. You got about 58 degrees. And you're about 50 feet away. And you want to know how tall is it. All right, so we have an opposite. We have an adjacent. Opposite and adjacent tells me I'm using my tangent function. So the tangent of 58 degrees equals my opposite over my adjacent. So 50 times tangent of 58. And I do want this to the nearest tenth of a foot. Okay, so I've got 50 times tangent of 58. I get about 80.0. So x is approximately 80.0 feet tall. All right, number 4. You're riding in a hot air balloon. Sounds lovely. All right, so here you are. Let's see, let me make that the balloon. Yeah, you're in there. You're right in here. Hi. All right, so you're at an altitude of 300 feet. All right, you see your house at an angle of depression of 23 degrees. All right, so remember, angle of depression, right? You're looking down at your house. All right. And I'm going to assume that's a right angle there. All right, and with the angle of depression there is 23 degrees. What is the distance to the nearest tenth of a foot, between you and your home? All right, so we're going to be finding this distance right here. So remember that when we have this 23 degrees, right, we assume that this horizon, and this is parallel, so this is also 23 degrees. So we have an opposite, we have a hypotenuse. That tells us we're using our sine function. So the sine of 23 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. And remember our little trick, 300 divided by the sine of 23. So 300 divided by the sine of 23. Get about. The distance is about 767.8 feet. All right, that's the end of page 2. Stay tuned for page 3.